Africa makes the semi-final always, doesn't
He was the first nigga.
Said men away from the game. There's a
I'm a real hater like that.
guys are gonna ride Messi, but like guys, the man can only do so much.
Yo, my brothers, my sisters, and my ballers, welcome back to another match day of What's Football Without Fans with your favorite social football analyst, Tepiso Pizzi, aka Tebzoro. To the ballers passing by, I hope you like what you see because I surely like what I do. And make sure to join the returning ballers who continue to show me gang love and appreciation by liking, commenting, as well as to subscribe. Seeing that this season, the Premier League title race is basically wrapped up, as well as the relegation zone, the only thing that there is to talk about is a not so wrapped up situation of the top four challenge. I'm not alone today. I have new ballers over on the What's Football Without Fans Matchday podcast. Over onto my left, I have Tabani. How are you, bro?
I'm good. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to plan this
For years.
this appearance
actually.
for time, and I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah. One thing that I can tell you about Tabani also has his own football podcast with friends called DND, which stands for Debates Never Die. I'll definitely put the link in the bio for you guys to check out and subscribe to. And on my far end, another brother, another baller who I've been chatting to for years in trying to get over on What's Football Without Fans. Leroy is with us. How are you, bro?
Good, thanks, and you. Thanks for having me. It's glad to finally be here.
Always. So, Premier League top four race, I feel as though first position is secured,
Yeah.
as well as second by Arsenal.
Yeah.
There's basically 5 to 6 teams battling for position 3 and 4 to have that quick automatic qualification to the Champions League. There could be position 5 this season, making it
Yeah, I was
into
gonna
next
say.
season's Champions League. Forest, Chelsea, City, Newcastle, and then 7th and 8th are filled up by Brighton and Fulham. What do we see happening?
Can I start
you
us
can
off?
start.
I'm going to be edgy here. There's no battle for third. Forest have it.
Really?
Yep. I'm giving it to them. I think if they play United next, I think 3 points from there will give them the belief that they are now a matter of a few games away from securing it. They will do everything in their power to get it. And I just see the chasing pack, Chelsea, City, stumbling once again. Dropping points unnecessarily. City might have the FA Cup get in the way, if you can say that. So I'm going to go on a limb now, and I'm going to give third to Forest today already,
Yeah.
which means essentially I'm filling up one spot.
My ballers will have to capture that and look at it end of the season. Well, they do have a 5-point gap over Chelsea, who they still face later in the season at home. And we've seen how tough it is to play against Nottingham Forest when they're at home. They like the old age, vintage Barclays side, from the Barclays era.
Especially during the day. Have you noticed all of the
They have
good
the
Forest
12
games
o'clock
you see?
fixture, ne?
All of the Forest highlights you see are during the day. I haven't seen Forest highlights at night once.
It's annoying. Your end, do you also feel like Forest has secured third?
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Chelsea's making top 4.
Okay.
So, and I also don't think City is.
Okay?
So I'm gonna go with, as long as they don't have a championship trophy hangover, Newcastle should get the job done. I think they round it out there, and I do see Forest being more consistent than Chelsea and City.
Before we enter Newcastle, wow, that's it's a hot take to actually say both City and Chelsea won't make top 4.
That's hectic. That's hectic.
Chelsea's final 4 fixtures: home games against Liverpool and Man United, away fixtures against Newcastle and Forest.
They lost 4.
Yeah.
So Chelsea's
They're not
out.
making it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm aware. Sharp. Chelsea's out. All right.
Don't leave him hanging. There's still a trip to Craven Cottage to play against Fulham, and that's never easy.
I hope it's on a Monday night as well.
And Craven Cottage
Yeah.
usually hosts
Yeah.
on those nights,
Yeah.
Look, Newcastle has a game in hand. Obviously, a catch-up fixture from playing in the Carabao Cup final. They definitely want to get back into Europe. And if there's a chance for them to get back into Europe via the Champions League with automatic qualification, they'd certainly take that. Well, basically, I think they've secured Conference League with the Carabao Cup win.
Yeah.
So Newcastle is another team to look at. Isaac up front, supported by Gordon, Bruno G, Tonali. How do you feel about them, seeing that you are out here in black and white?
Uh, just coincidence, but I feel like they're a solid team, guys. Like teams like Newcastle and Nottingham. It's more about a team that everybody just does what they're supposed to do.
Sure.
It's less about, hey, there's one player that's making all the difference.
Yeah.
Like sure, you're gonna say, oh man, Isak, Chris Wood make a world of difference, but like it doesn't happen without everybody just doing their part. And then so now it's like I trust teams like that more than I trust teams like City and Chelsea, where it's like if Palmer's not doing it, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
If Haaland's not scoring, if KDB's not passing,
Sure.
what's gonna happen? I feel like it's more of like a system. Everything happens because they know.
Functionality.
Yeah.
Even if Isak's missing, Gordon's gonna pick up some slack there. Somebody's gonna step up.
Murphy. Yeah. The typical
Murphy.
English football system.
I'd like to add on to that. I think the what we've seen from the likes of your Forest and your Newcastle is that, okay, cool, there's no over-reliance on individual brilliance. And then there's also a very good construction of profiles.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's no surprise that like you've got midfielders with legs and power, strikers that are typical strikers. They play the 9 role.
Sure.
They're not expected to do anything else other than play that 9 role. Wingers that are quick and dynamic and direct, like almost things that you grew up kind of. If you had your typical type of footballer per position, you're noticing that these, I don't want to call them smaller teams, but these teams that are outside of the top 6 are now constructing teams where you have a right back that's good at what right backs do,
Sure.
a left winger that's good at what left wingers do, a striker that can score goals, midfielders that are box to box, and all of a sudden
player per position.
and all of a sudden you're looking at these teams and you're like, yes, they're not going to beat you with quality, but if everyone, like Leroy says, does what they're supposed to do, they will probably outplay you and outperform you.
Yeah.
As opposed to these more dysfunctional, bigger teams that have probably grown, too reliant on the system or the individual player. So I think that's what's impressive. And I think that's where, in general, like, that's how the gap has closed. That's why we're talking about these teams. You introed the episode. You did not mention Man United. You did not mention Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Chelsea, he's ruled them out. Like, why are we talking about these big 6 teams like this? It's because of the fact that these smaller teams have closed the gap by building really good squads.
Sure.
And like realizing, okay, cool, the way to actually beat each other is not the way it used to be. There's a change happening in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Investment, we could also say, has also helped teams like Nottingham Forest and Newcastle more per se. We always know that going to St. James's Park is just a tough trip. Like going to the north, to the Geordies end, to Tyneside, it's a tough trip. It's a tough trip for any team in the Premier League. Chelsea's still going to face that. Looking at the top teams this season in the Premier League, Liverpool has dropped points there. Arsenal has also dropped points there. City has also dropped points there. So they are definitely a strong contender for the top 4, in my opinion. Look, I don't want to sound biased, but then I also have to be, in a way. Like, my heart wants Chelsea to finish in the top 4. That secures passage into the Champions League. If we're playing in the Europa League, which we're going to come into, then I could also consider it. Like y'all, but we're in the Conference League. But yeah, I'm still shocked at the fact that City has been ruled out.
By him. By Leroy. I have not ruled them out.
You have not ruled them out.
I week to week, I'm still shocked that City haven't sorted their season out. But I do think that in the run-in, especially now that it's just FA Cup and the league, there's just bad vibes there. It just seems like they all want the season to end, which is weird. But I just get the sense that of all the teams, they are likely to be the most serious and just scrape it. I'm talking about 4th position.
Yeah.
And 5th place is likely to get Champions League. You can give that to Newcastle.
Sure.
From where I'm sitting. Because I do get they are tough to beat at home. They're still beatable.
Yeah.
And I think teams don't go there thinking that they can't win. It's not a fortress in that. It's a tough fixture, not a fortress, not an unwinnable game. And I think they will drop points. I see, like I said, I see people stumbling, losing matches they're not supposed to lose. Then all of a sudden, your game in hand is meaningless. And you're now level on points with City. And then they win the weekend that you lose. And now all of a sudden, that's what I see happening.
Yeah. City, and the painful part about City is like they have the big teams all out of the way. You know, they don't need to face Forest, who beat them recently before the international break, or it was the Brighton game where they dropped points before the international break. They don't need to face Chelsea. They don't need to face Arsenal. They don't need to face Liverpool. They don't need to face Tottenham. All they have is Man United, the Fulhams, the Bournemouths. But the Fulhams and the Bournemouths is where they've dropped points this
That's
season.
where they've struggled
a lot.
the most. Some of the worst games have been against
Those types of teams, you know?
I was gonna say even United for them. I feel like I don't know those teams.
This
Like, I feel like
coming
United's in
weekend.
that bracket now. Like definitely lower than Fulham and Bournemouth, but like they should be in that bracket where I think it just may be a bit difficult for them because they're gonna try outplay and then it's just
Something
gonna
happens,
be
yeah,
something
something
so
happens.
stupid happens. It's gonna
Yeah.
be Bruno kicks the ball. Hoyland has one chance.
Matthias Nunes tripping Ahmad with
Yeah.
a mistake, like in the return fixture
Yeah.
at the Etihad Stadium, those type of things. Look, man, with Chelsea, Cole Palmer's no more cold. You even see it with
It's
him
frozen.
missing a penalty.
It's frozen
you
now.
know,
Ice cold.
below sea level. We don't know what to call it now, you know, but we've had an over-reliance on him.
Big
Jackson's no more there.
Yeah.
Big time.
With him being, no more being cold, Chelsea's form has also dropped. Jackson's back in training. Madueka's back in training. Cole Palmer's still with the team. Are Chelsea able to make it click?
This season, no.
Yeah, this is a no. I think
It's
they need
done.
to now decide. Okay, cool. I'm still surprised, even with Jackson's injury. Like, do you know Chelsea's best 11?
Do I know Chelsea's best 11?
As a Chelsea fan, do you know the best 11? Do you know the best goalkeeper?
No.
Do you know the best centre back pairing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the best midfield three?
Yes.
Do you know the best front three?
No.
There we go. So, like, I think what you would have said if you were Enzo Maresca, you probably had similar answers. He doesn't know yet.
Sure.
To be 29 games into a season and not know yet, it's not going to happen for you in the last 8 games. I think it's just a case of getting by, who's fit. I mean, there's players who are starting and playing who probably won't be involved next season. Jadon Sancho, I'm looking at you. Like, what is Noni Madueke? Is he a tricky, flashy right winger? Is he a numbers guy? Is he a producer? We still don't know.
Yeah.
Can Jackson score 20 goals if he plays 38 games in a season? We don't know.
Doubt it, yeah.
You see, so those
Unanswered
you're not
questions.
getting those answers now in the last 9 or 8 games of the season. I don't
Yeah.
think. The best thing I think you can hope for is that, again, it's now week to week, and then you look at who's above you, and they drop points, and it's like, guys, we have to win this game. And if your team can get serious around that, cool. Do you see that seriousness coming from Chelsea? I'm not dissing Chelsea. I don't see it.
Sure.
I don't see them rallying together. As a Chelsea fan, do you feel like the current Chelsea team feels like a team? Like they like playing with each other, that they're together.
That they like playing with each
Yeah.
other. There's still so much uncertainty. Look, it's a youthful group, so there are those youthful mistakes, if I can pinpoint it to that. But we lack cohesion that we saw, and we saw in a short period like October to December, where the team was firing on all cylinders, if I may say, and the big fixtures that we had, we got through them well. A short 2-1 loss to Liverpool, drew against Man United, which we could take away, even though we didn't want to because Man United was flat. But just off of firing Ten Hag, there's that sense of a small new bounce for Man United. Drew against Arsenal. Everyone else in there beat Newcastle, beat Aston Villa, beat Brentford. Teams we've struggled against, and they're still in our way. We have a fixture away to Brentford. We first Spurs, which has usually been 3 points, but I'm just unsure with my team. I'm just unsure with Chelsea,
You were speaking about cohesion, but no one's ever mentioned this. But like, you have like a 40-man squad. I feel like there was never gonna be
any sense
of real cohesion. Like, you guys play a completely different squad in the league than you play in Conference League. Like, sure, it's less competition, less competitive, but like, you expect to see some structure of like, okay, we're going to take out these 4 guys and then but it can be a whole different squad for you guys.
Yeah.
So obviously that's not gonna work out for you guys. I don't think, like Tab said, last 9-8 games. But I think, having said that, going back, I think you win your conference league. I think you can say it's somewhat, and if you can maybe get fifth, you can say, okay, somewhat a decent season. We can obviously hold our hands up, said we should have done better here, and here, but there's something to show for the season. You have a squad. You know which players are decent enough.
Yeah.
It's just about, you need to cut a lot of fat there.
Yeah. Is like Leroy said, 5th place and Conference League champions a good season for Chelsea?
From where we've come from in recent years, yes, only because like we need to come to terms with reality. That's Chelsea's standard right now. Unfortunately, it's not the standard we grew up watching Chelsea as, but that's our standard right now. It's provided, let's say, 5th gets us Champions League.
Yeah.
We've gotten the achievement of getting Champions League. You know, maybe not in the form we would have wanted to, but it's gotten us a manner of looking forward into next season as to, okay, this Champions League football, we've come off of winning a cup, which that as well. We won a cup, the Champions League. I don't count the Club World Cup, you know, which was 2022, but we've gone years without a trophy. That's unlike Chelsea. Like our trophy cabinet doesn't know dust, but it feels as though that's how it is right now. So any way of qualifying for the Champions League, I'm up for it, which leads me to speaking about a few elephants in the room. Spurs and Man United over in the Conference League. They're not in the top 4 race, but they have a foot or a chance in getting into the Champions League. What do we say about Man United?
I said this off air and I'm happy to repeat it on camera. I demand that we win the Europa League as a United fan. And it's not from a point of arrogance. It's not from a point of entitlement. It's a point of like how I just want to see a bit of seriousness. I want to see a team that believes they can win the Europa League. Because even if we get knocked out, I want to see us getting knocked out in a tie where, you know what, we gave our all, we weren't outplayed, we just lost the tie. Because that happens. You can get knocked out of the Champions League, the Europa League. We see it all the time. Maybe you lost the tie, but you're not because you played an inferior opposition. Like, that's what I want to see. So I was very encouraged with the Real Sociedad tie because normally we struggle in those away games, especially against Spanish opposition. Put up a decent performance there, decent enough for our standards. And then to come home and go a goal down and then come back the way we did, I want to get that sense that I want Old Trafford and the fans to feel like, okay, you know what? We've got Lyon next. We can beat Lyon. We can beat them. And then whoever we face after that, let's have a go. And all of a sudden you're in a Europa League final again. Sure. All of a sudden you have a chance. And then with, like you said, what's on the line with this season, like knowing how important the Europa League would be to get us back in the Champions League. I hate that everything we talk about now is financial based and revenue, but ultimately, like, what the difference between winning the Europa League and finishing 13th and getting no European football is massive for this summer.
True.
Which is supposedly one of the biggest summers that we're supposed to have. So I demand that we take the competition extremely seriously now. Players are coming back. We'll have enough legs to get through to the end of the season. I want to see the manager make the right decisions and like try win the Europa League. And if we do find ourselves playing against Spurs, I haven't seen the bracket. I don't know if we play them in the semis or the final. Like, that's not something that should intimidate us.
Sure.
I imagine that they're one of the best teams left. I think they're on the other side of the bracket.
Bilbao
but
as well, yeah.
I don't want us to fear a Bilbao tie. Like, go in there thinking we can win. If they beat us, it should be, okay, cool, we lost the tie, but don't not take the competition seriously. So I'm saying I demand that United take the competition seriously and we have to win the Europa League.
Your end, your club.
Look, I get Tavani. I want us to win Europa. It's good for the club. It's good for us. But once again, I have the same feeling as Chelsea. Like, if it's not clicking, I can't just expect it to start working Now it's international break. Everyone comes back. Now we understand 5 at the back.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work like that. But obviously, I think we do have the quality to compete with any team left, and we are Manchester United. We have to say that. So, as a club of our caliber, I think, like Tabani said, for me, I think just look like we're competing, because a lot of the times I feel like it doesn't look like we're competing.
Sure.
Like no matter who we play, like we played Ipswich, we did not look like we were competing, and it wasn't even something that was shocking to any Man United fan.
It's known.
Yeah, it's like, gosh, bro, are we gonna? We can win, but are we going to win?
Yes, yeah.
It's literally up in there. It's a coin toss every single game to see, okay, what's gonna happen. And like, I think, obviously, I don't think we're gonna start. Like I said, we're gonna start now dominating games. Everyone's gonna get it. But like a lot of things, I just feel like it's people just don't have belief. They don't have the effort. And I think that's where guys like Bruno come in, especially.
Yeah.
Like you can see, especially guys with like Bruno. Bruno's super talented, but like I feel like something that Bruno has over a lot of other guys in the squad is that he will work, he will believe, he's going to keep it pushing no matter what.
Yeah.
And a lot of other guys, they don't have that kind of grit to stick it out. And I want to see more of that if I think we have any real chance of like pushing past whoever we're going to play next, Leon.
Yeah.
And if we want to get to the finals, we're going to need a whole lot more of that. Like when we go down 1-0, some days Bruno's not going to be the one to be able to bring us out of the ditch.
Who do you look at?
And now the other guy that I could think of that was doing that, Ahmad isn't readily available right now. So now it's time for other players to step up.
Sure.
And show that they can, they have the grit, because like obviously show that you want to stay at the club. Like we know we're doing cuts next season. Players are going.
Yeah.
So show
Hallelujah.
that you want to stay at the club. Show us that you belong. Show us that you are a Man United caliber of player.
A Red Devil. You can represent the badge at Old Trafford in front of the Stratford end.
Can I say one thing, just as a caveat to my point? As much as I'm saying I like what Leroy's saying in terms of just look competitive. What it would hurt me the most is going out of the Europa League, trying to play one type of football. I'm yet to see this manager. He's slowly starting to adapt, maybe in terms of positions and what he's asking players to do. But I don't think any United fan in the world would have a problem if we won the Europa League in the ugliest manner possible. I don't think if we played super defensive, low block football, win away, or draw away and get a win. Like we don't, right now we're not really interested in the way we win the Europa League because of what's at stake. I would rather he prioritizes results over performances in the Europa League, because what's on the other side of that, good performances now and bad results don't do anything for us.
Sure.
Good results can be potentially life-changing for his Man United career and a few of the players. So I don't mind how we do it. I think that's the key thing. Like I don't want to just see, as much as looking competitive is one thing, but looking like a team that wants to win is more important right now.
Yeah.
Because the performance levels can be good, but what's a good performance if you lose? Right now, it's not going to do anything for us.
True.
But a gritty result, a bit of fight, that will to win, that togetherness, will do a lot for him as a manager, will do a lot for the players, and will do a lot for us as fans to be like, okay, cool. These guys that we see on the pitch, like Leroy says, they're fighters. Okay, cool. There's one or two fighters. There's one or two guys that, when the chips are down, okay, cool. I can sit back because I know he'll rise.
Yeah.
That would mean as much as performances, systems, roles. It means as much, if not more, at this stage of the season.
Now, because there's a potential fit that can make Champions League, in closing off, we'll give out our predictions. I'll start first. And I'll speak with my mind and not my heart. City, Newcastle 3rd, City 4th, Chelsea 5th. Forest out. Tabani, your 3.
Thank goodness we have other predictions here. We're gonna come back and check. Thank goodness. Like I said, I'm gonna stick with Forest.
Obviously, we're saying Liverpool 1, Arsenal 2. I assume,
No one's changing first and second, right?
No.
Okay, cool. Third, Forest. Fourth, City. Fifth, Newcastle.
Leroy?
I'm gonna go third Forest, fourth Newcastle, fifth City.
Hey, I don't know how Nuno Espirito Santos got these supporters, but my ballers, that's how we close off this match day in the top 4 title or top 4 race to secure their places in the Champions League. I hope you guys have enjoyed this match day. Continue to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks to the ballers that are featured today as my guests with Tubbs and Leroy. And until next time, live long.